it was wild. The Cubs, just checking I couldn't watch that game live. I was in Michigan and did not have access to it, but I will say that when you see the miles per hour of pitches as you're following along with the game, you're like, what? He threw what? I mean, look, we understand that the Miz is the man, but goodness gracious, how much longer can he do this? I mean, I hope the guy makes it to the All-Star game. This is crazy how fast he throws.
It's almost like he's breaking the sound barrier when he's pitching. But it is, as a baseball fan, seeing 100, remember, triple digits was supposed to be the original marker.
Yeah.
And so 101, you're thinking of Aroldis Chapman. You're looking at guys that, really have that strong arm. But to get far and above away from that.
Here it is. Listen to this one.
Who is trying to catch up to the Heat right now, 105, and that draws an ooh and ah from the crowd.
I've never seen a 105.5.
Neither have I, sir.
I'm not sure it's been done. That is the fastest pitch ever thrown in a game, right?
Is the gun broken?
I was hoping, just because the Miz is a likable fella, that he would stick to 104.3.
That's a good.
That was what I was hoping. It'd be a good advertisement for the station. I don't know who's on 105.5, but no, thank you.
Probably some Polish station.
104.3. Yeah, they're just doing Robert Lewandowski day and night at this point. 105.5. My goodness gracious. I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch. I worry long term about this guy. How can you throw that fast, that consistently? And over the course of this year, don't you wonder if he's going to run out of steam before the year's over?
I think I'm on the other side of it where I'm thinking about the evolution of a baseball player.
So you're thinking he's going 106 soon?
Either him or someone else. I mean,
he's going 108? Where does he wind up?
He takes a running start from the, from the mound.
No, I'm saying how fast can this guy actually throw a baseball? I think that's about as fast as you can throw a baseball.
From 90 feet, yeah. It's
crazy.
It is insane to see that and for him to do it consistently, especially because we're so used to seeing pitchers get injured so quickly in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, but hey, that would be better for the Cubs.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, I shouldn't say that. I am worried about his long-term health. I just haven't seen this before. And I wonder if it is one of these kind of classic cases of a guy who has speed, but he has to learn how to pitch. He's got to get to a point where he can kind of mix it up more, where he can figure out ways of pitching and not just throwing. Listen, the guy's unbelievable. I'm just saying, I wonder how many pitches like that you have in your arm. That's all. Especially
like if your changeup is hovering around 98 miles.
Wow, he's unbelievable. This guy's unbelievable.
Something else.
It's just an extraordinary thing to see, and he was spectacular in that game, and they managed to. That was the only one they won. That was absolutely incredible because I think that you look at the outcome of that series and you say, oh, yeah, the Cubs are right back where you want to be. They are right back in this thing. What are they, 5.5 out? 5.5 weeks before they take over first place in the NL Central. That's kind of, they say basically you pick up a game a week. That's pretty good. For this time of year, that's okay. They made a big jump there.
Especially when you can do it directly against the opponent, right?
Exactly.
Have a series and face them.
Up.
I think the big thing here is last year the Cubs were the ones with the target on their back. And so the Brewers felt as though they had this added incentive to beat them. And this year it's the opposite. I feel like that's what we saw this weekend, where it was a Cubs team that's looking at the Brewers and saying, we're better than you. We can beat you. And then, of course, obviously the results showed that they get to pick the series up over the weekend.
It was a Cubs team that looked at them and said, we don't need pitching. We'll beat you anyway.
We'll get guys off the street.
Last week it was the starters going down, a starter a day. This week it's like a reliever a day. I mean, what the hell's going on? It's just crazy the way the Cubs managed to do everything that they claim they were going to do. In other words, best defensive team in baseball goes out, makes a deal for a ground ball pitcher because he'll be so much better here because he's got this great defensive ball club behind him. And guess what? It was absolutely correct. How often does that happen? where you hear that sort of proclamation and you kind of roll your eyes a little, okay, yeah, that's how it's going to work. Guy's got, like, what's his ERA? And I watched that Mets series. I know how awful that team is defensively. But, man, that was something special. And I really thought yesterday to win that bullpen game, to win that third game with a double play was a perfect sort of metaphor for what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, and then obviously, as you mentioned, the bullpen game, Robinson comes out in the first inning.
Oh, yeah.
They keep him in a touch too long with the Gary Sanchez home run, and you're thinking, okay, same old.
Right.
But again, you think about the mental makeup of this team. To be able to bounce back from that and pull out the victory says a lot about the squad. And you're right, to be able to do it the way they did, and granted, wasn't the best pitching performance in the 10th by the Brewers, but that's baseball, and you got to pick up your victories when you can, and the Cubs pick up a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular all the way around. I mean, you got to, respect what they did, especially if you've been watching those two teams play, especially if you watched the playoffs a year ago. It was a moment you kind of had to have to get back into this division race, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, and they have to. I mean, look at the Cubs right now where they're at. Craig Counsell, they're in a position where they're trying not to let this thing implode, right? Where it gets too far away from them, where they feel like they have to be sellers at the trade deadline. They're trying to avoid that. And so, again, you get opportunities to, and you said it, right, where you get to say to yourself, okay, we're 5.5 out. We look at this team, we feel as though we can compete with them. No, we're not throwing in the time. Not that they would, but that we want to get as far away from that as possible. And had they got swept this weekend by the Brewers, we would have been doom and gloom in the city of Chicago today, for sure.
Yeah. Peterson was everything that was advertised. I thought he did a great job in that start. And then yesterday, when you hear that Jordan Wicks is coming up, you weren't doing handstands, Dustin. I got a feeling that you were a little bit wary.
Yeah, it was all the wrong reasons, right? I mean, they have their pitcher Milner all of a sudden has a appendicitis, has to Uber.
I know
he Ubers to go to the hospital. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but it's just like, wow, like that's how they did it. And they needed They needed a lefty.
Have you ever Ubered to a hospital?
Thankfully, no, not Ubered to a hospital. Yeah. No.
Have you? I have. Yeah. I had like a food poisoning episode one time. I don't know if you've ever had food poisoning, and I literally didn't think I was going to make it. I had this fever through the roof, and it was one of these horrible all exits open, no waiting kind of nightmares. and I had ordered a car. And I went downstairs, and I'm like,
poor car.
I was in an apartment. No, I was so unwell, like burning. Like there was a rainstorm on, and I got caught in the rain waiting for my Uber. And then I was too ill to do anything about it. I didn't even seek shelter. I just stood there and got drenched. By the time I got to the hospital, which was blocks away, the fever had broken. Like it was like I got water through my skin in my body. It was like it
cooled you
suddenly
down.
Cooled me down. I was fine. I went in, and it was like there was nothing wrong with me. And ever since then, whenever I've had food poisoning, I head to the shower.
Okay.
Because I think you can't hold any liquid down, but you got to get water in your system. That is my message from a rainstorm. No idea if it works or not.
And so there's WebMD, and then there's Mully telling you to take a shower.
Just take a shower.
Just take a shower.
When in doubt.
When in doubt.
Yeah. Don't worry about
that. It worked for me.
Those are the worst, though, Mully. Those are the worst where you go to the hospital and then you get this hospital bill and you're like, damn it, I should have just stayed.
Well, that was It costs so much bloody money to go to the hospital, and then you go in, and there's like a line of 7,000 people, and you realize, like, do I really need to be here? Like, maybe I can go home and just go to bed.
Urgent care and a couple of Tylenol would have probably.
Urgent care is the way to go.
Urgent care for that.
I agree with you.
Sure.
Yeah. And I didn't check in or anything.
Smart.
I got out of there.
Smart.
It's fine.
I feel like urgent care is my.
I Ubered
second
to the
home.
hospital and I walked home. That is a true story. I would say urgent care is definitely a good way to go, especially with kids. You know what I mean? You want to get somebody to give a look at something and you want to deal with it, but, you don't want to mess around.
Yeah, don't want to go directly. Like for me, it's ear infections. If you feel any sign of an ear infection, you're like, okay, I don't want to go to the hospital, but I can go to this urgent care thing.
Yeah,
and
they do a good job.
Out.
There's some of them are excellent.
And then some of them you feel like it's a scam. It's a scam. Just trying to take your money.
But the good thing is you can get in and out. That's a much better.
But I went one time to an urgent care, and when I got there, they were like, "Yeah, you got to go to the hospital." Like, damn. So that was the worst because you feel like you wasted a trip. You know? So you got to know how severe your issues are so you can bypass the urgent care.
That's a good one. No. You need professional help.
Yes, sir. I can do nothing for you here.
I'm just glad Cub fans don't have to go to urgent care after the weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I mean, it's a good weekend. That was a good weekend in Milwaukee,
really
right?
Good weekend,
yeah. You got to feel great about it, Dustin.
I listen. It was don't get swept.
That was it.
It was don't get swept, as the
Open
pointed out.
Listen to Brandon. He called it perfectly. I mean, I think that's why the Open was the way it was. It's just a self-congratulatory Open.
No, it's us. We are a team.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
about the show.
There you go.
But
me.
you're the one who's right.
No,
on the team.
You were right too.
You were the goal scorer.
You was right on the Sox.
That's great. All right, so Dustin, you feel like they'd have this momentum? Did they create any momentum from that weekend? From the bad pitching 10th and getting the run
No,
that way?
I hope so, but I think I'm glad they're playing. I'm glad they're not getting a day off. Monday can sometimes be a day off for teams.
Yes.
Tonight will not be a full Major League Baseball schedule,
Is
right?
Shota back?
Shota's back tonight. Okay. Padres haven't named a starter. They got their rear ends kicked by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So they just had to make they played yesterday and they flew all day in the afternoon, early evening, got here, and now they're back at it tonight. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. You just had that bullpen. Now the thing is, Shota's got to go like 6 in a little bit because that bullpen has been taxed.
How many pitchers they used yesterday? It was crazy. There was just a lot of pitchers.
6?
It was a lot. And then the end of the game, Dustin, boy, my heart went out to you.
Yeah, that was that was a lot.
When you come in and walk in a run and everybody in the building thought you were going to walk in a run. Yeah.
Well, how about did you catch the videos on social media about the Cubs dugout, specifically the coaches? You do not see.
Craig Counsell looked like a Cubs fan.
Right.
He was
flipping his hat.
Putting his hand on his face. Like he knew that the worst was happening, and then somehow they got out of it. But he was, I mean, you see, go to the hospital and look in the maternity ward, and you see fathers that are much calmer than Craig.
Yeah. And then the celebration after the fact. It was as if they had won a game that put them into the postseason or advanced them in the postseason. That was the reaction of that dugout.
Well, it should have been, because that's like a boogeyman team that you haven't been able to separate from, and you're still back 5.5. But you gained a very important victory in one where you were just rolling the bones on that.
You
one.
could have easily been back 9.5, though.
Oh,
You could have walked in here this morning down 9.5.
Yep, you're right.
With that pitching staff, who they lined it up.
Three best pitchers.
Their 3 best pitchers.
Yes.
And the Cubs used 7 guys yesterday.
7
to beat Woodruff. Now you could say, well, Woodruff was out after 84 pitches, 5 2/3 innings. The Cubs got their first run on a wild pitch. They got their second run on a bases loaded walk in the 10th. Not exactly the way you take a lead, right? You come back from down 1-0 by tying the game on a wild pitch and then a bases loaded walk. Okay, but that's baseball, man. You got to do that. I think the Cubs lead the baseball with come from behind wins.
Did they really?
I think so. Yeah.
Good for them.
I mean, it says a lot about the squad when you're winning that way, but I think winning ugly is just baseball. And this week, I think when you're looking at Craig Counsell, you mentioned his body language. You saw it after the Rollison when he gave up that homer.
Oh boy,
you saw it in the middle of the game, and I think it's the Brewers, right? It's his former team. He's in Milwaukee, like he's feeling all of that. So I think he was just in the moment more so than anything else.
And Dustin? What was your? I didn't hear that story that when who was the new pitcher? He gets up to Milwaukee.
Yeah, right. He's checking in the hotel. They hand him his key. He goes up to the room, and he's in a suite. And it's like, wow, okay, that's a nice welcome. Well, it happened to end up being the story the way they told it. That was actually Craig Counsell's room. But because Craig still has a residence
David
up there,
Peterson gets what turns out to be the penthouse suite.
Yeah, so he spent the weekend in a suite, and he delivered, other than the first pitch that he threw.
Well, I mean, that sometimes
did
gets
we have
out
a camera?
of
Did they have a camera on Craig for that?
Yeah. Oh boy,
the first pitch, boom.
Yeah,
or Jed Hoyer for that matter.
and Jed screaming, "Ground ball!"
Yeah.
Exactly. To throw ground ball.
First pitch, fly ball out of here.
That's great.
Yeah, that was not the way it's. But he ended up getting into it. But yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend up there for the Cubs.
Yeah,
kind of not a must win, but kind of a statement. Like their statement is we're going to hang around, because there's some plays you could pick apart. Like PCA had a rough go of it, struck out 6 or 7 times within 3 nights.
The high fastball was getting him.
Right, and then we had Bregman not running out of the box right away, but that kind of gets buried because they end up winning the game. So it's not perfect, it's not clean, but you will run like a thief in the night.
That's right, buddy.
And you'll get back right on that bus and come south of the Cheddar Curtain and sleep in your own bed.
They got to be feeling good. Yeah, you got to be feeling great after that. I mean, seriously, how long has it been since you've been able to go up there and kind of call your own shot type of deal? It was awesome.
And it's still wild. I mean, the Brewers are having an unbelievable season, picking up their 50th win.
And there's still half the crowd is Cub fans.
At least it could have been. I mean, they were talking about it on the radio. Like, the place was silent except when the Cubs would do something. And then, I mean, the place exploded.
Who's the fill-in guy? Alex Cohen, right?
Yeah.
He did the Wrigley North thing, which I'm sure any Brewers fan heard that. They go get the W sign back out.
Well, I thought about that L flag.
The L
Dustin,
flag.
If you mention that, he goes into a speech about sportsmanship, which he doesn't really believe in.
Not after that one, I understand.
That frosts him.
But the good news, the Cubs pick up the series. Maybe you should have had a Monday off so that way you can enjoy it a little bit longer. Worst thing that could happen. No. Worst thing that could happen, Dustin, is that they come out and lay an egg against the Padres, and then it's all for naught. That would be terrible.
They're back home. I think it's, Shota's.
And it's Shota's got to be.
He's got to be the good Shota. Yeah.
One, if you're allowing a home run, it can only be a solo home run.
Right.
It can only be one.
That's good.
But that's a good prop bet. It's a good prop bet if you're looking for a prop bet tonight to entertain yourself. Will Shota and Imanaga allow a home run? I would say yes.
I'd say multiple. That should be the bet. That should be the bet.
He will over a half. Yes.